real question that we need to be, have addressed here is, how the heck did you do all this with 4 kids in the house? And our oldest is 7. Okay, it's 3, 4, 6, 7. I don't remember how old my kids are.
Close, yeah. 3, 4,
Something
6,
like
7.
that.
It's close. Yeah, one thing that I do a lot is communicate with the kids. It's not like we're doing our adult things and they're doing their kids things, and there's a huge separation between the two. Basically, we see ourselves as much older kids, and we see them as very young adults, kind of.
That's right. Yeah, in a certain sense, like our kind of parenting approach really is, it's like older siblings almost, or at least that's what we're trying to live out.
So even in terms of learning,
right? Because that's the thing. Like learning, like they've spent this entire year now watching their mom learn.
Right.
That's just a normal thing. It's a normal part of life. She's not in a school. She's not like, it's not like a 4-year thing she does and then she's done learning. It's like, no, this is just a continuing part of life. This is
right.
And that's basically what we do with our kids. Like, we just let them like pursue their interests. We try to give them the tools to accomplish what they want to accomplish. And yeah, I think that's one reason we've been able to even do it, is because we're not trying to force them to learn certain topics. We're not trying to force them to, accomplish certain goals.
Right. Just like nobody is forcing me to learn web development or telling me what to do.
Right.
It's something that I decided to pursue, and essentially they're learning from me how and why to learn.
Yep.
Yep.
There you go. Right. Because that's the thing. Like, when I was growing up, I was homeschooled, but it was like my background was pretty structured. It was basically like a small private school, right? Like, I had no idea why I was learning all this, crap, like math and all.
Interesting fact, math.
Why?
Math is always the thing people bring up because this is a little side note, okay, so here's the theory. Here's the theory, is that children are born with a natural curiosity and a natural desire to learn about the world. You see babies and toddlers and they're just like, ooh, what's that? I want to do this, And interestingly, kids start losing that love of learning and that natural curiosity by the time they reach school age. Isn't that an interesting coincidence?
Very, very curious.
Now,
I wonder why.
Now, this is one theory, is that they actually lose that curiosity because they go to school. Think about times that you have been basically forced to learn something, or someone tries giving you some advice that you didn't ask for, or telling you how to do something when you were trying to figure it out yourself. Basically, I don't appreciate that, and when
so why should we expect kids to? That's the thing, and there's always a reason. Adults or kids are really good at rationalizing things, but adults are even better. And we can easily rationalize education as, well, they'll need to know this, or this will. There's a million rationalizations, and maybe they're right. I don't know, but it's kids are smart. Kids are smart, and they'll be like. They'll look around at what you're doing as an adult, and that's how they learn. That's how they learn, to speak. They didn't read a book. They didn't
watching and imitating.
Exactly, watching and imitating. So it's
what do kids want to do? Yeah, exactly.
They want to be on computers. That's what we're doing. We're on computers.
So they want to be on computers. We're on phones. So so they want to be on phones, and it's a great survival instinct. It is. Kids instinctually know, this isn't the other theory, kids instinctually know what they need to learn to survive because we're demonstrating it for them. And really, in our culture and our modern day, knowing how to use technology is what you need to know. You don't need to know how to sew. You don't need to know how to cook and even clean, or I mean all these basic things that you did on the farm or whatever back in the day are not the things you need to know.
We do clean our house every couple months. We clean
our house, but if we make a lot of money as web developers, we could hire someone to do it.
Right.
I mean,
that's what,
you don't even need to cook and clean if you can use technology.
It's not essential. No longer essential.
And what we're gonna make robots to do that eventually. I mean, we're not.
I mean, this is the thing too. Like, I mean, no shade on like the education system. It just can't keep up. It can't. Like the thing, like we're still teaching our kids like animal noises. I mean, there's books on animal noises. When was the last time you were out in the wild and you needed to know like the difference between a lion and a moose or something, right?
Even farm.
Don't. That's not even a real thing anymore.
And even farms, like there's all these kids books about on the farm.
It is ancient.
Have you ever seen a modern farm?
Curriculum.
Modern farm? Anyway, now we're ranting. Now we're just ranting. Okay, we're ranting. But the good thing is that people are starting to catch up, and the educational movements. So there are different like micro schools. There's micro schools popping up, like the Acton Academies that originated in Austin, Texas, or
Sudbury Valley
School, the Agile Learning Centers. I mean, there's so many micro schools popping up people are catching on that our education system is outdated, and it served a purpose for the way the world was, and the way the world is now. You need to be more agile and adaptable and technologically savvy. And basically, just like I'm doing, you can learn just about anything you need to learn online. And just like we're discovering now, even relationships with other people are moving more and more to online. So like I've felt very isolated as a stay-at-home mom. Like as soon as we started having kids, my social life went and I've been so isolated, just desperately going out, trying to see people. And Nat pointed out to me early on that I need to get on LinkedIn and Twitter. That's where people are.
That's right.
And so far it's been true. Like I've actually been able to connect with people, have conversations with people. Our 7-year-old daughter got to have a Zoom chat with some of her friends 1,500 miles away. I mean, just like technology is connecting people.
And that was the crazy thing too. Like all the people I've seen on a Zoom call, like all my coworkers, different people I've done interviews on Zoom. She was the most comfortable person I've ever seen on a Zoom call.
Yeah.
She picked up the computer, she was walking around the house, giving them a tour. She was playing jokes on them. She was jumping out and like surprising them. She played Uno with them. Like they both had a deck of Uno cards. And
they were playing dress up. They were coloring pictures together.
It was bizarre. It was bizarre to see just how in my mind, like already as adults, our minds are so set in place in terms of like, this is a conference call. You sit in front of the camera,
you just
and
sit
maybe
there and talk,
and you maybe share a screen.
Yeah.
But she was just like, it was crazy. It's crazy.
It was so natural.
That's the exciting thing about like homeschooling, is that we get to see that happen. We will get to see her and encourage her as she explores this new technology and starts creating the technology, or maybe using it in ways that have never been used before.